Okay, this is going to be a video on how to program a West controller by Quest Machinery, our standard sort of programming parameters and how to set up a program and check your configurations, etc. First thing you want to do is get a copy of the operation manual either up on the screen or print it out so that you can follow through the settings. So we're going to go to the configuration settings first. We'll scroll down here to find the config settings. Programming the controller, this just gives you some basics, and then this is the config settings. In order to get into the config settings, now let's go to the instrument. Notice it's off. Need to start with it powered down, and we'll power it up, and then within 30 seconds we need to hit the up and the scroll button. That's this up button and the scroll button, and hold them together until it turns to the config setting. Okay, now we're in the config setting. Now you can just kind of scroll through these settings and check to make sure they're correct or change them as needed. So we just scroll through the settings, checking to make sure control is standard, alarm we're not using, alarm 2 we're not using, inhibit we're not using, output 2 goes to output 2, output 3 is use RECP, that's the retransmit to the data logger. Now I'll just stop right here and show you that when you want to change something, we can go up or down, but in order to confirm any change in the config, you notice it's flashing now. We need to hit the mode button to kind of lock in that change. Timeout. Yeah. Yeah, okay, hang on a sec. Okay, we scroll through all of the settings just to confirm or to change them by hitting the scroll. Lock code, that means the lock system is on or off. Lock code we've set for 0, and we're back to the start. Now we go into the hardware defined by hitting the down and the mode button at the same time. Down, mode, oops. I should be able just to go. Back to the beginning at 722. Well, anyway, down and the scroll button. There we go. To get into the Okay, we're in the config loop now. So we just want to scroll through and check to make sure they're either set correctly or change them to the proper settings by hitting the scroll button. Control standard, alarm none, alarm 2 none, inhibit none, output 2 set to output 2, output 3 is the retransmit to the data logger. I'll just stop right here and show you that if you make any changes in the config loop, and we can just show you what the options are here. To make any changes, you notice that the screen, the middle line, is now flashing. To confirm any change, we need to hit the mode button. Okay. Now we go through the rest of the settings. Lock is on and lock code is 0, and now we're back to the beginning of that loop. Now we need to go to the hardware defined by hitting the down button and the scroll button at the same time. That gets us into hardware defined. This should be 1117, and we scroll to the next setting, external options none, comms none, and we're back to that. So we've finished the config loop. Now we're going to get back out of this by hitting the up and the scroll button at the same time, and it sort of starts over. Okay, so we currently, this one is the process temperature is 24.2 and the set point, the default set point, is 46.0. Now we want to get in and set the control settings by hitting the up and the scroll button. It will say unlock. The code is 0. You can see we can change that to whatever, but it defaults to 0. We confirm that, saying yes. And now we have two loops within here, two major loops. One is the control parameters, the other is the program parameters. By hitting the mode button, we can go to the two different loops. This is the program. It starts with final SP. The control parameter starts with filter. So we're in the filter loop. So let's go through and check all those real quick. Filter 2.0. I'm going to just scroll on the screen over here. Scroll to the next. Offset 0.0. That is your calibration setting. So if you want to change the actual display, you can see I can go up or down and it changes what the process display is. Next setting, output 1. That means that when it's currently, this is a read-only setting, it's currently asking for 100% heating. Output 2, there's no heating on currently. Proportional band set for 1.0. Proportional band 2, which is cooling, 0.05, or I'm sorry, 0.5. Reset, we have blank. We're not using the reset. I can show you that it's all the way to the top at 99.59, and then the next step is off. So you have to, if this one gets changed, you have to go all the way up to 99.59, and then it's blank for reset off. Next setting, rate, is 0.0. Overlap -4, which means that we this is a setting that assures that there is never heating and cooling on at the same time by putting the overlap to a negative number. Bias 0. Set point high is 125. That means the operator can never write a program more than 125, or set point low less than 25. Record high 150. That's the output 3, meaning that the 4 to 20 milliamp retransmit The 20 milliamp output is 150, and then record low is 0. So we've spanned that for 0 to 150 to the chart recorder at 4 to 20 milliamp output. Output high, meaning this is the setting that says that when it's asking for heating, it gives it a full 100%. Cycle time 1 is the heating cycle time loop. 16 seconds means that if it's only asking for 50% of heating at the moment, that would be on for 8 seconds and off for 8 seconds. Cycle time 2 cooling is set for 8 seconds. The reacting there is a little faster, so we were using an 8-second cycle time. Loop alarm we're not using, it's off. Auto PT we're not using, it's off. Auto manual enable is on, meaning that the operator can take it and run it manually. Lock there's where you set your lock code at 0. This is the default set point. This is when you're not running any program. The control set point is 46. I've set this one for 46 degrees. So this can be your pouring temperature if your unit is all plugged into steam and water. It's just the default set point. Self-tuning we've turned off, pre-tuning we've turned off, and we're back to the beginning of that loop. So we're done. Now let's go to the control or the programming loops. So here we're going to hit the program button until we get to program A, which is between 1 and 8, or between 8 and the start. These, once again, scroll to your on your settings, and we'll just check these. Start on is start on set point. Scroll to the next one. End on is end on set point. Delay is 0.0. The lock program is on, and recovery is 1. The only choices there is 1 and 0. 1 means that when you lose power, it goes back to wherever it was when it lost power in the program. 0 means that it would start over a new cycle or a new program. That's the A programs. Now we're going to write we're going to start actually writing a recipe. So we're going to hit the program button to program 1, and there's a small loop here that affects just this program. So we need to check these. Cycles is 1, auto hold is both, hold band is 1.0. That's sort of the hysteresis, if you will, of the thermostat, meaning that if you tell it to hold at 121 for 15 minutes, that when it gets to 120.9, then it will, within 1 degree of set point, it turns the clock on. And we're only doing that on the dwell mode, not on the ramp. So that's what the hold on D, small d, means. Pre-X 60 is either we're writing programs in minutes and hours, or hours and seconds. I'm sorry, minutes and seconds, or hours and minutes. If the Pre-X 60 is on, you're talking minutes and seconds. In this case, we've got it off, so all the programming will be in hours and minutes. Got that done. Now we're going to actually go into the program by hitting the Run button once. This program, now we're in program 1, segment 1, and we have asked it to go to 121C for its first set point. Scroll to the next. That gives us the time to get to that set point. So we've set a target. Now it's how long do we want to take to get to the set point. In this case, 0 means as fast as possible. Just go there. Next step is dwell. 4 bars is dwell. And the next step is stay there for 15 minutes. In this case, remember we're in hours and minutes, so the decimal is after the decimal is minutes. This is 15 minutes. And then we end the program, which will take us back to the default set point. So in this case, this program just takes us to 121 for 15 minutes and then cools back to 46 degrees. Now let's go to program 2. Once again, we're going to check the little cycles loop, if you will. Auto hold both, hold band 1.0, hold on D, pre-X60s off. Go to the first segment, 121. Get there as fast as possible. Dwell for 15 minutes. Then go to 72 degrees. Get there as fast as possible. Dwell for 24 hours. That's what this program is doing for you. I'm sorry I hit mode. That just took us over to the other loop. We'll come back, and there we are at program 2, dwell for 24 hours, and end. All right, let me show you kind of how to. This is just kind of checking some programs. Now let's go to, say, program 5. We're going to write a new program, right? Or program 6. Cycle, scroll, auto hold. Remember, we want both, so we'll go up or down until we find both. We don't need to confirm anything here. It's not flashing. Just go to the next step once you have what you want. Hold band. We're going to go to 1.0. Hold on, small d, pre-X60, either none or off, both will work. We don't want, so there's, turn the pre-X60 off. So program 6 is ready to write. We hit the run button. You notice it starts with dwell. Let's say that we want to go to 100 degrees. We'll hit the down button and move it to 100 degrees. Okay, next step is how long do we want to take to get there? Scroll to the next step. That says 1 minute. So we want to change that to 0. Now what do we want to do next? Let's just say that we want to dwell there for 3 minutes. We're just going to go up to 100 and stay for 3 minutes. So we're going to dwell. How long do we want to dwell? We want 3 minutes. What's next? We want to just say we're going to end. We're going to go back to 46 degrees. We can't end on the set point. We have to end on the time mode. So we just skip this, go to time mode, and then go down all the way to the bottom to end. Okay, so this program, let's just run through it and check it, scroll. We want it to go to 100, get there in 0 minutes, dwell for 3 minutes, and then end. So that's what program 6 has done. Alright, I think that's enough for now. Good luck to you. We'll get out of this by hitting the mode button until it says exit, and we're back in the operation mode, ready to run. So let's just check. Let's say we want to run program 6. If we hit the run button, it goes to 100, and says the hold light is flashing, meaning it's waiting to get there. We can advance through the program by hitting the up and the program button at the same time to go to the next step. And there we go. We're done at 40. We're back to 46.